Let's talk about literacy. It's really important. Your literacy levels affect my quality of life. My literacy levels affect your quality of life. I've worked in the literacy field for 15 years, and I've learned that we don't necessarily understand what the term literacy means, and we don't know how to recognize the challenges that people have. So let's do some learning. I'll define the term literacy, show you some examples of what literacy challenges can look like in a grocery store and a coffee shop, and then offer you a way of looking at situations through a literacy and learning lens. So literacy, the term literacy, refers to our ability to take in, understand, and use information. Our literacies are the basic building blocks we need to have in place in order to learn more. In communities where literacy levels go up, poverty rates go down. People with higher literacy skills are more employable and tend to stay in employment positions longer. People with higher literacy skills tend to be more confident and have a greater self-esteem. In British Columbia, approximately 45% of adults between the ages of 16 and 65 struggle to carry out their everyday tasks in part due to literacy. So let's take a look at how literacy affects our quality of life in a grocery store. Please picture yourself going to a store, and on this particular day, you're in a bit of a hurry. But go in, go through the aisles, pick up the items you need, and then please proceed to the self-checkout. At this point, you're at the self-checkout, and your quality of life is pretty good. You've gone in, you have what you want, and you haven't been held up yet. The literacy skills that you've used while you were shopping included reading, math, financial literacy, maybe some problem solving. And in the self-checkout, you're going to use visual literacy skills. So visual literacy refers to our ability to take in, understand, and use information from a graphic form. So it could be from images, actually. And so it could be pictures or graphics. So that's what you're going to use in the self-checkout. Oh, you're still standing in the self-checkout line all this time while I've been talking? Something's slowing you down. Maybe you're feeling not quite so happy all of a sudden once you realize that you've been slowed down by a person. You can see that a person is taking a long time to check out groceries. So all of a sudden, that person is affecting your quality of life in a negative kind of way. And I'm going to suggest that that person was slowing you down because of literacy. So let's reframe this. Let's look at it a different way. When we can see situations where people are learning, it's an opportunity to celebrate. It's an opportunity to recognize that perhaps that person is doing something for the first time. Perhaps that person is checking out produce for the first time. Perhaps that person doesn't have strong visual literacy skills, and it takes them longer to learn what they're learning. If we stand in that line and say, oh, somebody is learning something, then maybe we could give that person the gift of patience and understanding and time. So let's go to the coffee shop. In the coffee shop, you have the same situation where you're standing in line for what you consider to be longer than what would be comfortable. And it turns out in this particular case, the people that are delaying the line appear to be having a lengthy conversation. That was me at the front of the line, and that was my friend telling me what sandwiches the coffee shop had, because I can't read the menus when they're on walls. We don't always know what we're looking at. We don't always know what the situations are. You can't tell that I'm legally blind and that I own a white cane. That particular day, I asked for help at the coffee shop, and I said to the person working behind the counter, I have a visual impairment. Can you tell me what sandwiches you have? And the person pointed to the wall and said, the sandwiches are here on the wall. That was not helpful. My quality of life went down quite quickly in that way for that moment. And it took me quite some time to figure out what was going on there, why the person wasn't able to be helpful to me. And in the long run, I believe it's a literacy and learning story. The person's first language was not English. They were learning English. I used a formal term, visual impairment. And I knew that the person's first language was not English before I got to the counter. So it would have been kinder for me to say something like, I don't see well. Do you have, can you tell me if you have a vegetable sandwich? Or I could have just said, can you tell me if you have a vegetable sandwich? And that would have made it easier for that person. So in the long run, to sum up, our literacy levels affect each other. You can't always tell what situations you're looking at. You can't always tell when people are struggling. If you assume that literacy and learning is going on a good percentage of the time, that's something to celebrate. That improves your quality of life, and it improves quality of life of the people who are slowing you down. Thank you.